The MacBook Neo is here. Let's unbox it. Straight ahead. Hey guys, Sal from Techaeris, and I'm back with my Apple MacBook Neo unboxing. We're gonna go inside and take a look at what's inside this box. Let's get to it. All right guys, I'm excited for this one. Let's break into this box. The Apple MacBook Neo, the new laptop from Apple, the budget $599 for on your MSRP and $499 for students. So that's an attractive price and a hopefully attractive laptop. We have the silver variant here. I've seen a lot of videos on this already that showcase the citrus and the blue. Well, this is what my daughter wanted. She wanted silver, so I haven't seen any silver videos. Maybe they're out there, but I have not seen them. So here we are. We'll just open up this package up. Just came a couple days ago. I was out on a trip, so I did not get to see it when it came, but this is the Neo right here. We'll put that to the side. See what else Apple has in the box. Of course, documentation in here. I don't know if you get an Apple sticker. If you get Apple stickers for the budget deal, and it doesn't look like you do. But here's your documentation. Shows you all about your Neo and other things. Nope, no stickers. Not a big deal because those Apple stickers are pretty much everywhere. Here you have a braided cable, and that's your USB-C to USB-C. And it looks like average length. Doesn't look like it's as long as some other cables, so that is a little shorter. And you do get your iPhone style charger here with USB-C. And this is a low wattage charger because this laptop does not require a lot of power due to its processor and its size. So we are going to take all this and put it aside. And here is your MacBook Neo, and it's wrapped in this same sort of wax paper packaging that they've been doing for a couple years now. And we're gonna slide that right out of there. I don't know about you guys, but I like to try to keep my packaging all in one piece. And my initial impression, just kind of holding it and feeling it, it does certainly feel like a Mac. Has that build quality, all aluminum. Feels a lighter, of course. Well, it's a 13-inch, and it feels premium already. But my first initial impression is it does not feel as premium as a Pro or an Air. But that's expected. I don't know. I need to parse my thoughts, and that'll all come in the review. But here we have 4 rubber feet on the bottom. I'm hoping that these will be good and secured, because sometimes Apple's MacBook feet have been known to fall off. We'll see as we use this and as reviews come in. You do have screws all around, top and bottom. So this bottom case does come off. This is not a unibody design. So here's your back edge. Looks really nice, actually. It feels really nice for a $599 laptop. And here we have the ports. You do get 2 USB-C ports. These are not Thunderbolt 4 or Thunderbolt anything ports. I believe one is a USB 2 C2 and one is a USB-C 3. This one will be able to drive your displays. You can drive a display, I believe 4K display on this. And this one is just for like data transfer and other things. So from what I understand, if you plug something in that will not support USB 3 or like a display, if you plug a display into this, the MacBook Neo will scream at you until you plug it into the other one. So, and here you have a headphone jack, and then one of your speakers here on the side. And here is another speaker on this side. So side firing speakers on this model. And before we pop that open, I want to pull in the Dell XPS 14 here so you can see the difference in size. Now this is not a fair, comparison in terms of power. The Dell is a little bit, it has more power. It costs more too in terms of price. So, but there's a 13, I think it's a 13.3 inch on the Neo, and a 14 inch on the XPS. And here's your size differences. The Neo is probably slightly thinner, but of course we're talking price point here. This Dell XPS is quite a bit more in terms of money. I'm also going to pull in my 16 inch MacBook Pro, which is quite a bit heavier, very much heavier. So this is a 16 inch MacBook Pro versus the 13 inch Apple Neo, MacBook Neo. Quite the difference. All right, let's move that aside. And let's open this guy up. We have the 512 gigabyte version here. This only comes with 8 gigs of RAM, but you can choose between 256 and 512. You'll get with the 512, you get Touch ID on the keyboard. With 256, you will not get Touch ID. And this is also a fingerprint reader on the keyboard here on the Neo. Whereas with the 256, you do not get this fingerprint reader. No backlit keyboard. That's been one of the controversies with this laptop, is there's no backlit keyboard. That doesn't bother my daughter. She said she doesn't care about that. So, that, it is what it is. You're gonna have to live with it. We'll take this off, and there is your display. So anyway, we have, in terms of display here, we have a 500 nit display, a 13 inch liquid retina display with 500 nits of brightness. We are going to set this up, and we're going to take a look around in a little bit. But first, let's talk about this keyboard. This is basically, they say, is the keyboard you get with most Macs, except for the backlit keyboard option on there. The trackpad is not the same trackpad as a Pro or an Air. It is not haptic, it is mechanical. I just clicked it now, and it actually doesn't feel too bad, but we'll get into that a little bit more in a bit. Let's get this set up, and then we'll talk more about it and roll some B-roll. All right, guys, let's talk about the Apple MacBook Neo real quick. We're just gonna go over this real quick. This is just an unboxing, not a review, and some initial impressions, but we do have several colors. We have the silver, also blush, which is the kind of the pink one, the citrus color, which is kind of neon yellow or whatever, and then indigo, which I actually like the indigo. I encouraged my daughter to get the indigo, but she wanted the silver, so it is what it is. It's her laptop, so she gets to choose. This is made with recycled aluminum, and which they say is 60% recycled content. So with the display, you have a 500 nit display, and it's a liquid retina display. And of course, they brag on it, saying brings photos and websites and videos to life with clarity, blah, blah, blah. Keyboard and trackpad. This is the Magic Keyboard, and it delivers a precise, comfortable typing experience. And typing on it a little bit here as we got it all set up, it feels very similar to the keyboard on my MacBook Pro. Maybe a little bit different, but not that far off, other than the fact that it does not have backlit keys, which is something I don't like. But it doesn't bother my daughter, so we're good with that. This keyboard does come with Touch ID, but that only comes with the 512 version. If you opt for the 256 version, you will not get Touch ID. I don't care about Touch ID. My daughter didn't really care about it either. I just wanted to make sure she had enough storage, so I went ahead and got the 512. The webcam is a 1080p FaceTime HD cam. It looks decent. It's not, it's not super awesome. It's not as good as the new MacBook Pros and even the MacBook Airs, but I think it's good enough for voice calls and video calls. It does the job. For mics and speakers, you have two side-firing speakers, and they say it delivers immersive sound, and dual mics isolate and enhance your voice for clarity, crystal clarity. Excuse me. We did test the speakers a bit. They are obviously not as good as the MacBook Pro. They lack some of that low end and that punch that the MacBook Pro is known for. But man, this is a $599 laptop. We can't expect everything and all the things on it that we would want. Another pain point is the two USB-C ports, with one of them being USB 2 and the other being USB 3. rather than them both being at least USB 3. I do think that this is something that Apple should have addressed. They should have just put 2 USB 3s in here. I don't really care that they're not Thunderbolt. At least 2 USB 3s would have been best here in this scenario. But again, we're talking about a $599 laptop. We can't have everything. Wish we could have all the things, but it's just not going to happen. Of course, it's running the A18 Pro chip, and Apple says this helps you run your go-to apps, fly through everyday tasks, and tap into your creativity and play action-packed games on the arcade store there for the Apple App Store. And here's where I think this laptop sits. It's for everyday productivity. I mean, answering emails, taking video calls, browsing the web, updating after-school schedules, sharing photos. This is a content consumption laptop. It is not a creator laptop. And if you are going into this thinking you're gonna use this 100% for like heavy content creation, I think you'll be upset with it. I think this is not for that. I think you can create some content with it. I know that you can do some Final Cut on here. I know that you can do a few other things on here, some GarageBand and probably even some DaVinci Resolve in here. But it's gonna be very minor things, and definitely not for 4K video editing, not for heavy video editing with a lot of edits and a lot of layers and plugins. That's just not going to work on this. It's not made for that. And Apple also says that the MacBook Neo is perfect for learning, whether you're cramming for finals, and you can use Apple Intelligence and all this other stuff on here. That is what this laptop is for. It's for students, and that's why we got this for my daughter. She will be using this for her continuing higher education. And basically what she needs it for is for docs and email and research and, play some Apple Music and do things like that. It's not intended for her to use in a heavy way. And her intention for schooling is not to be she's not going for things that are needing a lot of horsepower. Perhaps in the next year or two, depending on where she decides to go, she might need that, and we'll have to upgrade her or get her a different machine that can handle the things that she will need at that point. But at this point, this is perfect for what her needs are, and at this price it was hard to beat. I traded in an iPad Air M3, which I got $405 credit for, so I didn't pay full price for this laptop, which is amazing. Apple also says this laptop battery should last up to 16 hours on a single charge. Of course, we have not tested that, but the efficiency of the A18 is well known, and the fact that this is just going to be a content consumption machine and a school machine, I'm expecting that this is going to hit that mark, and depends on where she has the brightness and all that other stuff. No backlit keyboard, so you don't have to worry about that. No haptics to drive more power. So it's, those things are a positive for the battery. Apple says this liquid retina display does support 1 billion colors, and of course 500 nits of brightness. The 500 nits of brightness is great. A lot of these budget laptops will be between 350 and 4, and so it's nice to have a brighter display. It's not as nice as the MacBook Pro. It's not as nice as the MacBook Air. It does lack. It is reflective, but I don't suspect that this is going to be an issue for my daughter. It may be an issue for some people, so you got to take that in consideration. And finally, to wrap up, I'm just going to read a couple of these bullet points that Apple has. It says, this is the easy does it all. Mac OS feels simple and intuitive on this laptop. It has the built-in Apple apps, of course, with the docs and the mail and everything. If you want to use all of their stuff, which I don't generally use their apps. I generally use third-party apps, which is you can do as well. So that is it, guys. That is the new MacBook Neo in silver. My impressions here, my thoughts, my final thoughts. This is not my review. My review will come out later, but my initial thoughts here. This thing's built very nicely. It feels like a MacBook. It has all of the tolerances of a MacBook. The lid closes nicely. It opens quickly with one finger. It's well balanced. The keyboard feels really nice. The trackpad, despite it not being haptic, is actually really nice. You get the full range of the trackpad from top to bottom as well. Not a lot of budget laptops, they have kind of crappy trackpads, but this one's very nice for a mechanical trackpad. My pain points for me personally are the no backlit keyboard, no haptic trackpad, and the 8 gigs of RAM. But that is only my pain points. That is not something that my daughter, who will be using this machine, is going to feel an effect of. But again, we are talking $599 and $499 for students, and that's with a 16 gig variation. This is the, excuse me, that's with the 256 variation. This is the 512, so it's a little more expensive, $699, so $100 more. But I think if you're going to pick this up, my advice is to get the 512. It's always best to just get more storage. You can use cloud storage, you can use an external hard drive, but really the 512 is where it's at, and I think it's just better to future-proof your storage and just get that 512 right off the bat. So that is it for this video, guys. Thanks for watching, thanks for keeping up, and thanks for supporting the channel. Make sure that you are subscribed. Make sure you hit the like button, hit the notification bell. Put a comment below. Let me know what you think about the Apple MacBook Neo. Are you getting one? Do you think it's worth it? What do you think of all the hate and the love it's getting? I mean, it's getting it from both sides. A lot of people dislike what Apple's done with this laptop. They don't like the low usage of RAM. They wanted more options for RAM. But really, who is this targeted for? What are your thoughts? Do you think that people are just a little bit nuts trying to justify that they need more power for something that's not marketed or going to be used by people that need that sort of power? I think Apple hit the mark here. I think that this is going to push PC makers to make better budget laptops from an aesthetic point of view, where the build quality is going to be better. Right now, I think PC does have some really great hardware inside. So great chips with Snapdragon, especially, and Intel and AMD. They all have good starter budget chips that are doing really well. So yeah, we'll see what happens. That's it for now, guys. I appreciate your time. Please make sure you take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and we will talk to you on the other side.